There once was a town called Veridia, a place so perfect it could have been painted onto a porcelain plate. The streets curved in gentle harmony, the houses were draped in blossoms of serene colors, and the citizens moved with a quiet, unwavering grace. In Veridia, there were no arguments, no outbursts of grief, no unsightly frowns. There was only peace, a perfect, polished peace. This harmony was preserved by the great tradition. Upon reaching adulthood, every citizen was bestowed with a masterfully crafted porcelain mask. Each mask was a work of art, depicting a single perfect emotion or virtue: a gentle smile, a courageous brow, a serene gaze of wisdom. To wear one's mask in public was the highest law. It was a symbol of unity, a shield against the ugliness of raw, unpredictable feeling. It was the face of Veridia itself. Among them lived a young man named Elian. His mask was called contentment, a visage of calm, pleasant satisfaction. It was a beautiful mask, smooth and flawless. But beneath it, Elian's heart was a hollow chamber where a silent scream echoed. He felt anything but content. He felt like a ghost inhabiting a beautiful statue. He would often find himself watching the young children, the unmasked, as they ran, laughing, crying, and scraping their knees in the dirt. He envied their freedom, their fleeting, authentic ugliness. He yearned for a feeling he could not name. One afternoon, while tending to the town's immaculate rose gardens, Elian stumbled. The world tilted in a dizzying second of clumsiness. He reached for his face, but it was too late. His mask, his face of contentment, slipped from its fastenings and fell to the stone path. It did not shatter. Instead, a tiny hairline crack appeared, branching like a lightning strike right across the left eye. A wave of panic seized him. A flawed mask was a deep disgrace. He quickly put it back on, his hands trembling. But as he peered through the fractured lens, something miraculous happened. The world, for the first time, looked different. Through the tiny fissure, a single rose petal seemed sharper, its crimson color deeper, more alive. The sunlight warming his hand felt more real. The crack was not a flaw, it was a window. That night, driven by a desperate curiosity, Elian did the unthinkable. He slipped out of the town and went to the forbidden woods, the one place wild and untamed. There, under the silver light of the moon, he slowly, deliberately removed his mask. The rush of cool night air on his bare skin was a shock, an exhilarating baptism. He looked at his reflection in a still pond and saw a stranger, a young man with uncertain eyes, a nervous mouth, and lines of worry on his forehead. It was not a perfect face. It was his, and for the first time, he felt a real smile spread across it. Not the painted smile of contentment, but a trembling, authentic curve of joy. He laughed, a sound so loud and real it startled the birds from the trees. He wept, not from sadness, but from the sheer, overwhelming relief of feeling something, anything that was truly his own. Emboldened, Elian believed he had found a profound truth. He had to share it. He sought out his closest friend, Lyra, a girl who wore the mask of kindness. Her mask was gentle and sweet, with eyes that always seemed to offer comfort. He found her by the town's serene river. "Lyra," he began, his voice trembling with the weight of his discovery. What if the masks are not a blessing? What if they are cages? What if our real faces, our real feelings are more beautiful? He reached up to touch the crack on his mask. Lyra recoiled as if he had brandished a weapon. Terror filled the painted eyes of kindness. "Elian, stop," she whispered, her voice sharp with fear. "That is sick talk. It's dangerous. The tradition keeps us safe. It keeps us happy." "But is it happiness, Lyra? Or is it just silence?" he pleaded. She shook her head, unable to comprehend. "The masks are who we are. To remove them, it is to become a monster. Please, Elian, fix your mask. Forget these thoughts." She turned and walked away, her posture rigid. The mask of kindness had never looked so cold. Elian was left alone, the chasm between his inner world and the world of Veridia, now a vast, uncrossable canyon. He had never felt so utterly alone. His isolation was noticed. The town's leader, Elder Theron, summoned him. The elder wore the most magnificent mask in all of Veridia, serene authority. It was gilded with gold leaf, radiating an aura of absolute, benevolent control. Theron was the architect of the great tradition, a figure revered by all. In his grand, silent chamber, the elder regarded Elian's cracked mask. His voice, when it came, was like the tolling of a distant bell. "Your mask is flawed, son, a reflection of a flawed mind. This obsession with what lies beneath is a disease. Harmony requires perfection. Your true face is a weakness the community cannot afford." "But it is the truth," Elian said, his voice quiet but firm. A strange, almost imperceptible tremor went through the elder's body. For a fleeting second, a flicker of raw pain seemed to flash behind the mask's placid eyes. "Truth," the elder scoffed, his voice regaining its iron control. "Truth is what we build together to protect ourselves from chaos. You will have your mask repaired. You will forget this madness. That is my final word." Elian left the chamber not with fear, but with a new certainty. He saw that the elder's authority was as brittle as the porcelain he worshipped. He knew what he had to do. The annual Festival of Unity was the most sacred day in Veridia. The entire town gathered in the main square, a sea of flawless, smiling masks to celebrate their shared perfection. Elder Theron stood on the central dais, preparing to deliver his annual address. As he began to speak of harmony and flawless tradition, a single figure walked into the center of the square. It was Elian. He stood before the entire town, his heart pounding a rhythm of terror and liberation. He met the elder's gaze. Then slowly, with a deliberate, steady hand, he reached up and took off his mask of contentment. A collective gasp sucked the air from the square. Silence, an absolute silence. For the first time, the people of Veridia saw an adult face, a real one. It was not monstrous, it was just human. It had lines of anxiety, eyes filled with a desperate plea for understanding, and a mouth that was not smiling. It was the face of a soul laid bare. The elder's voice boomed, filled with fury. "Heretic, cover yourself, seize him." But the guards hesitated. The crowd was frozen, mesmerized. A small, unmasked child sitting on her father's shoulders pointed a tiny finger. "Look, Papa," she said, her voice clear as a bell in the silence. "His face moves like mine." The spell was broken. The child's innocent observation had pierced the heart of the great tradition. Enraged and losing control, the elder lunged forward to grab Elian. In his haste, he stumbled on the steps of the dais. He fell, his own magnificent mask of serene authority striking the stone with a sickening crack. It split in two and fell away. The crowd gasped again, a sound of deeper, more profound shock. Beneath the mask was not the face of a serene god, but the face of a broken man. One side of the elder's face was horribly scarred, a twisted landscape of old burns and deep wounds. It was a face of immense, hidden pain. Tears streamed from his one good eye. "Chaos," he whispered, the word a choked sob. "It is chaos." Elian looked at the elder, and in that moment he felt no triumph. He felt only a wave of overwhelming empathy. He walked to the fallen leader, knelt beside him, and did not look away from the scars. "No," Elian said, his voice gentle. "It is not chaos, it is just you." That was the day the great tradition began to crumble. It did not happen overnight, but the seed of truth had been planted. Inspired by Elian's courage and moved by the elder's hidden vulnerability, Lyra was the next to remove her mask. Then another, and another. They learned that true harmony was not the absence of flawed feelings, but the courage to share them. They discovered that real connection was not built on perfect smiles, but on the beautiful, messy, and authentic act of seeing each other truly for the first time. Veridia was no longer perfect, but for the first time in a very long time, it was real. Weeks later, in the town's main garden, a new tradition was quietly born. Elian sat on a simple stone bench. Beside him sat Elder Theron, his scarred face now open to the warm afternoon sun. They didn't speak. They simply watched the unmasked children play, the real laughter echoing in the air. It was a silence not of perfect harmony, but of peaceful, shared understanding. The story of Veridia is the story of us all. We each wear masks we believe will protect us, keep us accepted, or hide the parts of ourselves we are afraid to show. But true beauty is not found in the flawless porcelain we present to the world. It is found in the courage to show our cracks, to embrace our imperfections, and to let our true selves be seen. What mask are you wearing today? And what beautiful, authentic face is waiting underneath? If this story planted a seed of thought in your mind, help our garden grow by subscribing to Mindbloom Animation for more stories that grow the soul.